Welcome back to the Welcome to the World of Sports podcast. I'm your host John, along with my co-host Brax. Y'all already know. We've been away for a little while. A lot has been going on through the summer, especially with the Olympics. The NFL is starting to kick back up with the preseason, and we all got to witness a great performance from one of the game's greatest players. Um, about a week ago. Coming up on about a week ago, and Steph Curry, man. So we got a lot to get into. We just gonna get right into it. Mentioning Steph Curry, USA basketball, men's and women's both win gold. I think 5 straight for the men and 8 straight for the women. It's just something you never heard of before. So, Bryce, just give your overall thoughts on how you think the Olympics went in terms of basketball for the USA.
I think it went good for the USA just based on, obviously as the front runners, you always expected to win it all. I feel like they kind of handled that well. Just going to the earlier games before we got to the actual Olympics, just making sure that they put teams away early or and try at least trying to. And then obviously they had the test from South Sudan, which was kind of thrown off, but like just I think it was important for them to go through that period, win all of these games, so that by the time you got to the Olympics, they really felt like they were unbeatable. I feel like so when moments came to where you had to have a performance like we'll talk about with Steph, just coming up making plays like he did. It wasn't foreign to them making plays in late game situations. So I thought it went good on the men's side, and then the women's side. Also, they had the late test, where it almost came down to the wire, but I think it's just a sign of what is to come with the league and how everything is progressing. I feel like the league and on the women's side and the men's side, like the world is catching up. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Um, you talked about how like the men, um, they were battle tested. And I seen something where Charles Barkley was basically saying like the men shouldn't have been battle tested going against these countries, But like you said, like the rest of the world is catching up. They're not playing against these teams in 1992 when they barely knew how to dribble a basketball. Like the game has gone global, so of course they're gonna face teams that we're gonna get them some trouble. I mean, people know how to play basketball now. It's not like this is a foreign sport to people around the world. You know what I'm saying? So, just on that aspect, I feel like Charles Barkley was wrong. But overall, I'm very impressed with the men and the women. I mean, it's what I expected. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how much the world's gonna catch up, I feel like we always gonna have the best talent in the world when it comes to basketball. It's just given. I mean, 5 straight goals and 8 straight goals speak for themselves. So that within itself. But overall, I was just happy. As far as the women go, I mean, they were breathing through competition until they got to like the last game, and then France just kind of. I think the home crowd is what kind of helped France stay in that game. To be honest, that was something that the men nor the women ever had to deal with before. Facing a team on their home on their home court in the Olympics. So I just think that was just a tough test for them, having to battle through that. But overall, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm really happy at the place that we're at with USA men's and women's. And who you think going return for 2028, both on the men's side and the women's side?
Well, on the men's side, just considering how that game ended, and having the game be close until the fourth quarter, with the separation was only like 3 points, and Curry having to do what he did, it's gonna suck to have he's probably not gonna return for the 2028 Olympics. Like it's in LA, so that there's always a chance that they could play because it's in the hometown. But when you think about he is 35 now, I believe, and by then he'll be 39. Or no, by then he'll be 40.
Yeah.
KD will be 39 and LeBron will be 43. Like we asking senior citizens to go play basketball, in my opinion. So it's kind of getting crazy. And so as far as returning players, I think, a lot has been said about Jason Tatum and him not getting that many minutes. You're gonna need him for 2028 because it's not going to be as much star power, and I feel like these games might be a lot closer. So I think you'll have Tatum, Anthony Edwards, of course. AD probably will be there, And as well, I mean, we don't know what Joel Embiid gonna do. He kind of said he's gonna play with us. I mean, he played with us this year, but he said he might play with Cameroon. So I think those are the only locks. And then, maybe some other players, depending on how it fares out, you never know. On the women's side, I presume Asia Wilson will be there, but I saw some snubs. Arike Gumbawali, I would like to see her on the team, just because I mean she was the MVP not too long ago, and for her not to be on the team is kind of absurd. So if she could bring firepower to the team as far as the women's Olympics, so that her as well as our girl Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, we want them to be on the team too.
Yeah, for sure. I really don't disagree with anything you said. Just for me, who I think is gonna return for the men's, uh, I could see, I could see Tatum coming back. Tatum definitely gonna play a larger role, just because I think KD really minimized Tatum's role once he came back. Like people take what Steve Kerr said and just like gloss over it, but like KD really, like, of course you're gonna play KD over Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, if it was up to me, Jason Tatum would have been sitting on the bench too, because he not gonna play over KD. So KD just minimize his minutes a little bit, but I think he's gonna come back. I definitely think Anthony Edwards is gonna come back. Like you said, Curry's gonna be gone because he's gonna be about 40 when the next Olympics comes around. So I think Tyrese Halliburton is going to play a huge role in that point guard role. And I think we can also see like a couple of names get thrown into the mix too. Like maybe Ja Morant, if he continues to be on the straight path. A name like Zion Williamson, if that's something he desires to do. You knock this name, but maybe like Cade Cunningham, I would like to see Cade in there. Cade balls. I mean, he balls, but he's just on a bad team, so it don't really look good for him. But I would like to see Cade. As far as the women, I think that pretty much a lot of them could come back. Like I could see Asia Wilson coming back. I could see Kelsey Plum coming back. I could definitely see Brianna. Well, it depends. I don't really know how old Brianna Stewart is, but I could see her coming back in 4 years if she's still playing at a high level. I mean, we seen Diana Taurasi there. She was like, what she is, like 40 some years old. So I feel like we could see Brianna Stewart again. Pretty much everybody we could see again, probably except for Diana Taurasi. But I would also, like you said, like to see the additions of an Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark, given that they're playing at this level. I mean, playing at that level when it's time to come around again. But I seen something recently. Don Staley is on the committee picking the players, and she was like, basically saying if they were to, like, at the end of the season, like going into the All-Star break, if they were to pick the USA team again, Caitlin Clark probably would have been on the team, just because uh she's playing better than she played at the beginning of the season. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they kind of missed the mark with that. As far as sometimes, it may not have been exactly right to put her over some people that have probably been wanting to do it for a while. But at the same time, you're kind of looking to try to grow the league, and I think it would have just been good to have her on the team, even if she didn't play that much. Just get her, maybe give her a couple minutes, just see what happens. Because like people say, you're trying to grow the league and stuff. But a name that we didn't talk about that I think would be nice to add to the men's team for 2028. I would like to see if he keeps growing. Paolo Banchero. I think he would be good for the team. He could play a lot of different, be versatile. As far as just like playing that point forward role, he can handle the ball and pass and do things like that. So I think that would be good too. But I
Oh,
don't want to like bury the lead here. We know what we came to talk about. So let's talk about Steph Curry real quick. So going into that fourth quarter, he had hit some threes, but not to the degree of the amount of heat that he was getting to once he got to the fourth quarter. When he started we made four threes in a row basically in like 2 minutes. What were you thinking as that went on? Like, what was going through your mind seeing him drop them bombs on friends?
I'm not gonna lie, I was going crazy, bro. Like I was in the house hyped just because it's just Steph Curry being Curry again. And I just love to see when he get high, bro, because it's like it's one of the most therapeutic things you could ever see, bro. Just seeing someone that small just shoot the ball consistently the way that he shoots it, bro. Like someone would pay a lot of money to be able to shoot like Steph Curry. I know I would, because man, he just don't miss. So like just seeing him be great and be at his greatness, I was just marveled once again. And I really was speechless once he hit that shot over two people, bro. Like that took the words out of my mouth. I had seen it all at that point for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a true testament to your greatness when you look to the side, you look to your left and to your right. You got KD, LeBron, and all of them. They trying to get you the ball. Like nah, like and they okay with the shots that you're taking. Like the last one was kind of crazy, but like just him going off the way he did, I think it adds another level to his legendary status. Putting him even I don't know. I don't want to say. I feel like he already top 10 all time in my opinion, but just like his impact on the game, like that was one thing that kind of was away from him was the Olympic gold medal, and now he's got that, so he's kind of pretty much established in everything. I think that's just good for the league, and like you said, watching him make the threes the way that he does, like we have never seen anything like that. Like somebody who could literally who had been struggling most of the Olympics. Like it was a point in time where people was like, bro, why did Steph even come? Like he was shooting 1 for 9, like crazy nice. Steve Kerr gonna stick with his boy. But to come back around when the team actually needs you and to make the threes in the way that he did, the fashion that he did, it's just insane. And like I said, it just builds upon his greatness. So.
It just, to be honest, it just goes to show you how clutch he is, bro. Like you said, bro, he was non-existent for like the majority of the Olympics until we get to those last two games, bro. And when he knows we need him the most, bro, he produces, bro. It's crazy, bro. Like he knew that we didn't, he could take a backseat, like, but when it was time for him to show up, he showed up, and that's one thing that people can't knock him. People talk about Jordan being the most clutch player in his era, bro. But honestly, I feel like Steph probably the most clutch in our eras, like in this era for sure, since we've been watching him. Yeah, he's probably the most clutch, bro. Because the stuff that he pulls off when game is online is absolutely ridiculous. It is.
Yeah, man. Like he's hit a lot of tough shots, and like you said, he probably is up there. I would probably make an argument for
KD's right there too.
KD. I'll probably make an argument for KD or LeBron. LeBron has hit some tough shots since about 2017 to now, like
He's
especially
underrated
in 20.
from the close.
Yeah, underrated for sure, especially in we seen it in the Olympics. And we're gonna get to LeBron in a second, but we seen it in the Olympics, like them first couple games when they needed buckets and they needed buckets late in the games when you really needed them. He was giving it to them at 39 years old, which is freaking crazy. But like to do that, he was announced to be the MVP for the Olympic team. What do you feel about that?
I didn't have a problem with it at all, bro. The way that this man plays the game, his IQ, bro, the passes he was making. Of course, he wasn't impacting the game as much scoring the ball but that's never been his game. You know what I'm saying? He's always been a pass first player. So like to see him be able to distribute the ball and the type of passes he was making, I mean, he showed up all 4 games. You could say whatever you want about Steph. I mean, all 6 games. You could say whatever you want about Steph Curry showing up the last 2 games and how he should deserve the MVP. But LeBron James showed up and made and impact the game every single game for those 6 games. So I have no problem with it.
Yeah, yeah, and I've seen some people trying to make the argument for Steph. His argument would be that he came up, big in the biggest games of the Olympics. But throughout the Olympics, Braun was averaging like 14 points, almost 7 rebounds, and 8.5 assists. Like that's obviously was the best player on the floor at all times. So I had no problem with that as well. And it's kind of sad. Like as soon as that game ended, I was just looking like, dang, like it's crazy. This probably the last time we're gonna see these three on the floor playing competitive basketball together. And it was just like as the buzzer sounded, you kind of just was like, dang, like we watching history, something that people will talk about in the history books for a long time.
100%.
Yeah, but moving on to the track and field. So there was a lot of pressure on the men to actually get the gold because of some statements that was made by this next topic. So Noah Lyles put a lot of pressure on himself last year, talking about, oh, world champion of what? The United States? talking about the men's going, saying you're not the world champion unless you win the gold. And so about a week ago, everybody was tuning into their TV to see what was going to happen. Noah Lyles lines up for the 100 meter. Obviously everybody, we determine the fastest man in the world is whoever wins the 100 meter in the Olympics. And in the beginning of the race, he literally was dead last, almost halfway through the race. And then the last 50 meters of the race, he makes an outstanding comeback and doesn't get to the lead until literally like a couple point seconds before they cross the line. One of the craziest finishes we ever seen in Olympic history, and gets USA to gold for the first time in 20 years. What was in your mind when you seen that, man? That was crazy.
That was just for him, bro. That was just a good race. I'm glad he was able to do it and able to back it up because me personally, I think he does yap a little too much for me. But I was happy to see him do it, to put on for the USA and win gold, like you said, for the first time in 20 years. That was just an amazing race to see him, win that by what it was like 0.22. It was like 0.002 or 2 seconds or
Yeah,
something.
it was so what's his name? Kashane Thompson he ran a 7.8. 7.8. Hold on, I got it right here. Hold on 1 second. I think the difference was only like 0.5 seconds. Like it's literally,
Yeah, it wasn't.
if you blinked at the finish, you missed it. Like, and it came down to the lean. So basically, it was a lot of the debate over who crossed the line first. Because if you look at it, it looks like Kashane Thompson's foot crosses the line first, but that sliver of space is between like basically your clavicle bone is what they say is what, if you pass that, then that's when you win it. And by the lean, that's when Noah Lyles kind of got that separation to get the win. So it was close. They had to go to replay. Even the announcers looking at the race, they called it for Jamaica. Like they said, "Oh, Kashane Thompson wins it," and when they showed up on the score on the board on the big board, it was like a shocking turn of events. Man, it's crazy for USA getting that first Olympic gold in almost in 2 decades. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. Shout out to Noah Lyle. That was a hell of a race. Sure. Bring it home, man.
But hold on, what'd you think about him getting? See, that wasn't even his main race that he really runs. He really runs the 200. What'd you think about him saying he had COVID after losing, or I ain't gonna say losing, he did get a medal in bronze, but getting the bronze in the 200 meter. What'd you think of that?
I don't know. It's kind of interesting because, you see him come out when they call his name and he's jumping up and down, doing all these antics or whatever. Then he gets in the stand, he gets in the blocks, and then, they take off and he's getting dusty, you know what I'm saying? When the
Yeah.
race finished, he all on the ground, so he kind of, if he didn't have it, he made it look believable by how he was acting after the race because he claimed he couldn't walk and do all this stuff. So if he did have it, I hope he feel better. I kind of seen something on First Take where they were saying like it was kind of irresponsible on his part to go out there and race, knowing if he really did have COVID, going out there and race, it was kind of irresponsible on his part. But I don't know what to believe because majority of people on the internet saying he didn't have it. But if you look at the race, at the end of the race, obviously something was wrong with him. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think he kind of hurt his case with me over the past couple of days because I seen a clip come out that he was like in the club, and like as far as I know about COVID, when you have COVID, you kind of like you don't want to go out in the clubs as far as I know. So that kind of made it look a little bit unbelievable
Yeah,
to
that
me.
was.
But I mean, if they say he was diagnosed with COVID, we'll say he was diagnosed with COVID, but it's still not gonna hurt like what he did in this Olympics to me. He got a gold medal in probably the hardest like actual race in the Olympics, and then he got a bronze with COVID. So like you can't really discredit a man who got bronze with COVID. So I give him credit for that. But like my last thought on this, to talk in the way that he did and back it up, that's the type of stuff in sports that you just live for that. Like I can't even knock him on that. I know people, basketball fans, tuning in, probably looking to see him lose in that situation. And for him to come back, he looked in the camera and said, "America, I told y'all I got this." Like that's the type of confidence that you got to take going into the sport. And I think track needs that because it makes things a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
But moving on to women's track, women were dominating in the track. We won. I believe it was the 4x4. We won the 4x1. Just some uh, tremendous races. And even though we didn't win the 100, Shakira didn't win the 100. She performed well and got us that lead that we needed towards the end of the race in that 4x1. So just I want to give my shout outs to all of the women on the track teams as well. The track events was really what made this Olympics, in my opinion. What you think?
100%. For me, it was basketball and track for sure. Like you said, shout out to the women for dominating the track. I think that I think they accounted for 66% of the track and field medals that we got. The women, the women came through with that. So shout out to them. It just goes to show you how far women's sports are coming in this world. Being able to dominate on track. But it was good to see the likes of like you said, Shakira. She didn't win, but she got silver. Then you got to think about Messiah Russell winning that 100-meter hurdles in a fashion that she did. That was a good race. Sydney McLaughlin, Lebroni, she just dominated the track and everything that she ran. The 400-meter hurdles, the 4x4. She's really what gave the girls their big old lead in the 4x4. So I mean, overall, it was just good performances by all the ladies who were on track, and like you said, salute to them, and a way to show that women's sports are evolving, especially on the track.
Yeah. I want to give credit to them, and I also want to give credit to the women in the gymnastics. So we got a lot to talk about here. So obviously, through most of the gymnastics portion of the Olympics, the USA were dominating for the most part. Simone Biles killing it like she always does, greatest of all time. We already know that, no discussion there. Suni Lee was doing her thing too. She got they all have as a team. Her Jordan Childs, Simone Biles, Suni Lee, I believe one other person, I forgot the name at this current moment, but got a team event, team goal, and then and they all had their own personal medals as well. But the big controversy is the controversy regarding Jordan Child. So the situation is, as it currently stands, she originally won the bronze medal. Like it wasn't instantly because they had to review something, and it was reviewed at first, and they approved the review, basically saying like she had got a point deduction, and they reviewed it and said, okay, no, like we did it wrong, and they gave her the bronze medal. Come back a couple of days later, and now they're saying that the review didn't happen or the challenge didn't happen in time, and it's basically saying that she had to return the bronze medal. And it's crazy because the USA is now saying, and everybody's fighting on behalf of Jordan Childs. This is heartbreaking, and they're saying they submitted in conclusive evidence to show that it came within the window period to the challenge window period, and it still has not been, resolved. They basically said we can't go back and look at this, even though I find it crazy that they can go back and look to change it, but they can't go back and look now. But she her bronze has been taken away, so it's sad. It's a sad situation. What's your thoughts?
Um, First and foremost, yes, it definitely is a sad situation. But I want to say shout out to Simone Biles and the rest of their team, for all coming together to win the gold. Shout out to Simone Biles for winning 3 Olympic gold medals in Paris. This Olympics. Shout out to her. We all know she's the gold, like you said. But getting back to Jordan Childs, it is very sad, bro, especially when they reviewed it and they found that it was an error and they gave her the bronze. And then, like you said, the United States has conclusive evidence, bro, that they challenged this within the right amount of time, but now all of a sudden you can't look at it. And then I also found out today that a member on the IOC committee is from Romania, like the committee that's trying to get the bronze bag from her is they got a person from Romania, so it kind of all makes sense of why it's going on what's going on. But in my opinion, if I was Jordan Childs, I wouldn't get that medal back anyway. I wouldn't give it back no way. Who's to say they gonna come to your house and get it? No, they ain't gonna come to your house and get it. So I mean, I wouldn't return nothing to me if it was me. But yeah, man, it's just a sad situation, bro, because all the evidence is showing that the USA is right in this instance, and they're still trying to give the medal to the girls from Romania, bro, and it's just like that's dirty, bro. You don't do nothing like that, but this karma is a real thing, bro. Karma is a real thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it goes to show like the inconsistency. Well, let's talk about the Olympics as a whole. This Paris Olympics, despite the great moments that we've gotten it, there's been a lot of bad things that have gone on in this Paris Olympics that a lot of players and athletes have been talking about. I mean, this isn't the first instance. Like you look at the tennis match with Coco Golf, the official basically saying, "Yeah, I know I called it wrong, but so what? Like, just go play." And like, there's nothing she can do in that moment, and it's not the first time that she said she was wronged on that court. Then you got this situation where a review was changed. That's it. As far as I'm concerned, that's it. We don't go back and go change medals once it's already been done. That's just too. That's too much in a situation like this. Then you also got the situation with the Mommy Rocket, what's the name? Fraser Price for Jamaica. Literally, they were about to race, and they basically changed a rule saying that if you didn't live in the village, you couldn't come through a certain gate. So they were gonna have to walk all the way before the 100. Like
Same
it's
thing.
too many.
Same thing happened to Shakira.
Yeah, like it's just too many things that were messing up with the athletes. So I think it would be good if we can clean some of these things up before we go to LA 2028 for sure. Because you athletes have to perform under certain circumstances, and when you mess up their flow and rhythm, it can change the whole thing. So
Welcome back, y'all. It's time for our infamous Black Spotlight segment. Y'all already know how we did get down. We pick one black person who we want to spotlight for doing something good in the world. And so I'll just go ahead and start first this week. This week I'm gonna put the spotlight on Kevin Durant as he becomes the first US men's basketball player to um get 4 Olympic gold medals, and he also became the all-time leading scorer in Olympic points for both men's and women. So just a big shout out to him. I know I've given him a hard time in the past for the move he made to Golden State, but honestly, I can't deny his talents on the court when um he's easily probably the best scorer I've ever seen in my life, just because the way he can, like, the shots he makes at a consistent level, and for his height, man, I just you can't really hate on that. Anybody that hates on that, um, they just don't know basketball. You can hate on his move going to Golden State, but you can't hate on him as a player because he's just that special. So my shout out goes out to Kevin Durant.
well, for my black spotlight, I'm actually gonna make a last minute change, and my last minute spotlight is gonna be Quincy Wilson, who ran in the 4x400 meter for the men's USA team. 16 years old in his first Olympics. I think that is outstanding feat. Just to even say that you were in the Olympics, and not only can he say that, but he can say he's a gold medalist now because the team won gold. In his first race, obviously it didn't go how he probably planned it, but he's only 16 years old running against men who are in their 25 to 30 years old range. So like, I think just for him to even make it and for him to put his team in a position to be able to go and get a goal, I think that was amazing to see. And it was funny seeing him post on his Instagram, saying like he got basically go back to study. He got class in 2 weeks. Like that's funny. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool, and I think that was good enough to be my black spotlight for this week for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. I think that's a wonderful spotlight. Just seeing what he's been able to do at 16, man. Kids dream to be on that big stage at 16. He was posted up with Brian on the boat, opening ceremony. Like, bro, people would die for that opportunity. So just to see what he's been doing, is amazing feat. And also I want to say shout out to the other Quincy too. I forget his last name that ran that
Quincy
400.
Hall, Quincy Hall.
And he put it all, he put everything he had into them last 100 meters of that 400-meter final. So shout out to
Yeah,
him, man. Shout out to him for sure.
yeah, for sure. It looked like he was fading away, but he pushed through it and he made it. He took.
Hey, bro,
I
that was
seen him.
incredible. That was
Yeah, he said he doesn't give up until the end of the race, and he definitely didn't do it in that situation. So
yeah,
shout out to him, man. That was amazing.
that was incredible, bro. All right, man. But
That's all
yeah,
we got, right?
yep. That's all we got. Appreciate y'all for watching. Y'all already know that football season is about to start ramping up, so we're gonna try to start coming to y'all a little more consistently. I know I say this every time, but we took a little break for summer, man. I sat back, watched the Olympics. Now we're coming back to y'all. We're giving y'all all our thoughts. And now that football season is finna ramp up, we're gonna try to come to y'all a little more frequently now, because we're gonna have a lot to talk about. I feel like this year. And yeah, and keep a lookout, man. I'm gonna be talking about my fantasy league too, man, because I'm going for back-to-back titles, dog. But it's definitely in full swing. Brax, you got anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is I don't know about that in the fantasy league because I'm in that fantasy league, so I'm gonna be trying to win it too. But best of luck to you and your squad. But my squad gonna win, so hopefully we can get some revenge for last season. But
Going
other
back
than
to
that,
back, we're trying to go back to back, man.
nah, man. Other than that, I ain't got nothing else to say,
Yeah,
man.
for sure, man. Appreciate y'all for watching. And until next time, y'all be blessed, man. Welcome to the world of sports. We out.